Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this channel today as we talk about body image. This morning I woke up and I thought I should talk about something light and fluffy, something fun like how to pick a good yoga mat. And I thought, let's take on like the most controversial topic in yoga, body image, or at least one of the most controversial topics. So disclaimer, this video is going to be way too short. Like if you're tackling something as big as body image, it should be like 4 hours long, but there won't be. I just want to mention two things just to get the conversation started. The first thing that I want to talk about is my opinion on what society says about body image, which is slightly different than what society says about body image. And number two, how to improve body image, because I think it's a big deal. I think that it does mostly affect young women, but I don't know. I think that women of all ages and men too, I don't think anyone's really spared in the whole body image plight. Like I think we all have a body, and so therefore we have some sort of opinion on what we think about it. And it's really challenging in this day and age with all the magazines and the Photoshop not to be critical of your own body. But moving right into this, my first point, what is my opinion on what society thinks? Well, what does society think? I do think that society, up until very recently, we went way too far one direction. We were not kind to our bodies, and photoshopping was just huge. Like even models didn't look like themselves, right? Like there was so much pressure to be thin. There still is. It's still a huge problem in our society, and definitely, absolutely something needed to change. So I think what happened, and I'm happy this happened, there's been quite a number of campaigns in the last several years of like really trying to improve the climate of body image, right? Like love the skin you're in, be happy with who you are, and all those things I think are really great. I think there was even some countries, I think it was 2015, where there was a few countries that they placed minimum standards for weight for models, fashion models, and companies who hired fashion models would be given hefty fines if they were hiring models that were too thin or that were under the minimum weight requirements. So, I mean, that's a start. That's a good start. We're doing something. I think that we finally realized we need to do something because our society is just getting so unrealistic with what they think we should all look like. And it's gotten way too far. So I love the fact that we're trying stuff. But what I see happening is we kind of went too far in some cases. I've heard quite a number of people feeling like I love my body the way it is, and it is the way it is, and I'm not doing anything to change. And I like that first part. I love my body. I think that's great, but my objection is that when you say, I love the body just the way it is, I love it the way it is, and then we ignore our bodies. Like we don't do anything to our bodies. I think that we've decided if we want to eat healthier, exercise, that's just proof that we have poor body image because, well, that we want to change ourselves, and that's not good. But in my opinion, what your body looks like should have nothing to do with your self-esteem or your self-worth. I think those are two separate, complete issues. Like you have a body, right? And then you have self-esteem. But because our self-esteem sort of resides within us, if we don't have any self-esteem, then we just are our body, I think is what we feel like. And I know for me, when I was younger, I didn't have low self-esteem. I had none. So all I saw was my body, and I didn't like it because there's nothing inside to substantiate my own self-worth. So I get it. But I think it should be, I love my body. Full stop. New paragraph. I would love to eat healthy food and exercise because I love my body, not make it proof that I don't love my body. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion. I think we've gone too far. I think that if we use I love my body as an excuse not to take care of it, that's going too far. Separating the two, my body is part of a bigger health puzzle, or not a puzzle, but like a compilation. We've got how much fat content we have on our body, how much adipose tissue is what it's called. And we have blood pressure, we have blood sugar levels, we have iron levels, we have all sorts of things that comprise our health profile. And I think how we look, or if we're overweight or underweight, it's a part of the bigger picture. I think the reason why it got so out of hand is because it's the only part that you can visibly see, right? Like, you can't look at me on this video and be like, I know what your blood pressure is, Carla. You should be looking at that. We're not judgy about it because we can't see it. But you probably could guess what my body mass index is because you can see me. So because it's a visual, people put way too much emphasis on it. So again, I'm not going to the first extreme saying everyone needs to be lean, but I am saying that being lean is healthy. And I think we need to not, I feel nervous saying that on camera. Like, being lean is healthy because it's not the only piece to a healthy puzzle, to a healthy profile picture. It's one piece. So do I think that being lean should be the priority? No, it's like 1/1000th of the priority. We should be concerned about blood pressure a little bit, cholesterol, all of your vitamin levels, all of the things. What I want to see is the pendulum come back to center, which I don't think it was ever really there in the first place. But do care about your body, but also know, if you were to be in tip-top condition where your entire profile, your health profile is all spot on, it would probably take all day long every day. You know what I mean? If you were to have an incredibly healthy top level strength to weight ratio and have all of your vitamin, mineral, and trace mineral composition be spot on, and to have great cardiovascular health, right? VO2 max, all of these things, it would be full time. Do I think that's more important than, coming home for dinner, taking care of your family? No. Do I think that you shouldn't grab mac and cheese once in a while because we're busy people? No, I never said that and never would. So I think that we are putting too much emphasis on body image. And again, it's kind of like that whole hamster wheel where, okay, we shouldn't place so much emphasis on it. But then we look at ourselves and we're like, well, I could do a little bit better. And then we're like, no, I want to feel good about myself. So here's part 2 of this video, which is how to improve body image. I think that by saying, I love my body and I'm not changing, is not the answer. I think that the answer is improve our self-confidence. Because coming back to when you look at your body, your self-confidence is like what's inside you, right? And when you have none, all that's left is this outer shell. And so that's all you see, that's all you feel. But if you're a confident person, that gives you the strength and the knowledge that your body is a vehicle. It's kind of almost outside yourself, and you're able to take care of it because you love yourself and you want yourself to live a long life. You have things that you want to accomplish and contribute to the world. So I'd like to mention a quote, a Socrates quote. It's brilliant when you really think about it. He said, "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have." In other words, if you're don't like my body, I really wish I was 10 pounds thinner. If you woke up in the morning and you were 10 pounds thinner, you would not be happy with that. Okay, let's be realistic. You'd be like, yes, for a nanosecond. And then you'd be like, okay, well, I'm not happy again. Why am I not happy? I have everything I want. But Socrates is right. The grass is always greener. We always want something different. But really, it's within us that we need to change. So the answer is very, very simple, in my opinion, but not necessarily easy. Like, how do we improve self-confidence? We have a world full of probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not tens of millions of people. There's probably a lot of zeros on the end of that number to how many people have low self-esteem or self-confidence. So let's just break it down really simply, fairly quickly, because I want to keep this video short. What is self-confidence? Well, what is confidence? If you look up the definition of confidence, it's knowing that you have the ability to do something, right? Are you confident you can cut down that tree? Well, yes, I'm an arborer. I've been doing it for 20 years or whatever. Not me. I would not be confident cutting down a tree. I would call an arborer. But an arborer would be confident because they have thousands of hours of doing just that. So they have confidence. When they say go out, be confident doing something for the first time ever, you're not confident, you're brave. You know what I mean? Like the first tree he ever cut down, he would have been brave, thinking, well, I've got the education, I've got the certificate or whatever it is that they do, so things should work out. So he was brave for the first 10, 20, 30 falls, right? And now, after 20 years of being in this industry, this fictitious person that I've just made up just now, this fictitious arborer, is confident. So same thing with us. Now, confidence is perhaps a little bit different than self-esteem or self-confidence, but self-confidence is just the same thing with yourself. So do you feel self-confident? A lot of people think, well, I feel more confident when my hair and makeup is done. I feel more confident when my nails are done. I feel more confident when I'm thinner or when I'm leaner or whatever. But really, we haven't even touched upon what about you as a human, though? Like, what about me as a person? Am I a confident person? Because again, we're putting so much emphasis on body image. Remembering, I don't think we should go too far to one side of the pendulum or the other, but rather lay in the middle where, yes, it's important. How you present yourself, I think, is important. Treat your body nicely. Try to present yourself. Like, brush your hair once in a while. I don't necessarily do that all the time, but, like, try to take care of yourself because you love yourself, not necessarily because it makes you feel more confident. Maybe like super small, but having inner confidence, you can be in sweats and throw your hair in a ponytail and feel confident. You know what I mean? Okay, how do you build self-confidence? If you have self-confidence, you might just be like, great, learned a lot, Carla, thanks, click. But if you're like, I don't know how to do that, I'll be really quick. How you build self-confidence is practice doing things that will make you confident. So if you're like, but what would make me confident? Knowing that you're good at stuff. And it doesn't matter what that stuff is, so long as you are impressed by it. If you're like, well, I don't even know what I'm impressed by, think about your friends and family. I know for me recently, I was scrolling through Facebook. I'm not on Facebook that often, but I was 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and my cousin posted this thing about how she read 47 books last year in 2020. And I was like, that is so cool. How did she do that? Like, when did she do that? She's got 2 kids. And I was like, uber impressed. So now I know that's something that if I did that, that would be just another little extra confidence that I could have for my own self. I don't think I'll ever read 47 books in a year, maybe. But I think even if I read 5, I'd be like, yes, I'm awesome. A little bit. Not to be confused with arrogance, right? Confidence is when you have an ability to do something and accomplish something. Fun fact, I mentioned that we'd have a lot of psychology in this channel. And if you're like, what does that even mean? Psychology is awesome because it's like life hacks for your brain, how to make your brain work for you, how to make your mind work for you. So fun word called dopamine. If you don't know what dopamine is, it's a chemical. So it's kind of like a drug, and we make it ourselves. And we get a little shot of dopamine every time we do something, when we accomplish something. So if we go back to our book analogy, if you were to read like a 400-page book, let's say you read 100 pages a day. Let's say that the book is 401 pages. You read 400 pages, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and for whatever reason the phone rings and you can't read that last page. each day that you read your chunk of 100 pages, you're probably going to feel a little bit of dopamine, a little bit of like, I read a lot today. But when you finish that last page and you close the book, the next time you do something like that, just notice how your mood rises. You're like, I finished a book. And even though you might not be like, yeah, and like party, you will still feel something. And that's dopamine. That's your body. That's like back from caveman days. We get dopamine in order to help us survive. When you do the good thing, you get the reward. So you do it again, right? So anything that relates to you as a human, if you do good, you get the dopamine. So do more things that give you dopamine, because that lets you know you're on the right track to gaining self-confidence. So for me, I know because of my reaction with my cousin, I know for me, if I read more books, I'm going to build my self-esteem, my self-confidence. Self-confidence builds self-esteem, because self-esteem is just how you think of your own self-worth. And if you are a self-confident person, you would judge yourself to be more worthy. Right before I let you go, I just want to tell you a quick story that my husband did. It's a little exercise, and I highly recommend it. It's like a craft. So if you have kids, it's great to do with kids. If you don't, pretend you're 5. It's really fun. So we did it this summer. What you do is you take popsicle sticks and a glue gun, and you take like 4 or 5 sticks and you put them side by each, and then you glue them together to make the top of a table. So you've got your like table, right? And then you put, before you put any legs on this table, you could write on the top of your table, like in Sharpie, write, I am confident. So that's your table. That's your top of your table. That's what you're trying to prove. Now, for the legs of the table, you write on each of the next popsicles something that you like about yourself. And it can't be related to like money or material possessions. It can't be like, I have a sweet car. Like, because that's not really anything to do with what you did. Like, yeah, you worked for it, you bought it, but that's not actually going to build self-worth, believe it or not. It won't at the end of the day. So something like, I read 47 books last year. That is a thing. That is a true, you put effort into that. You did that. You got some dopamine from that. So I read, Carla would write 4 books last year or whatever it was. Not 47, but one day maybe. And maybe it's something else. I'm really good at sewing. I wouldn't write that, but I know people who would. I'm good at cooking. I'm not good at that either. I feel like I'm going to go and do that exercise right now because I'm struggling to think what I am actually really good at. But anyway, you could say that you've attempted something many, many times, proving you're brave, right? I'm a brave chef because I make food. It just doesn't turn out so super, but I'm confident enough. Like, I know I can make a meal. It may not taste good, but I know I'm confident I can make one, and it's edible. And no one will get sick from my cooking, probably. So then you take the legs and you glue them, right? One leg, and then one leg. So you've got 4 legs on this table. Now, as you can imagine, if you've got 4 popsicle sticks, a little bit of glue on the table top of popsicle sticks, it's not going to be that sturdy. So you need more glue, more legs. So then you take another popsicle stick, write something else. So something has to be written on every single leg of this table. And so you write another one. And then when you've got your 2 legs this way, then you can go one like this. Suddenly your table gets a lot more sturdy. So in every direction, maybe you've got another one that goes this way. And then on the other side, like this, crisscross. And then on each of the sides this way, right? So more and more and more sticks that prove that you are a confident person. And when we did this summer, we actually had our kids do this. And those tables were so strong, those popsicle sticks and glue, that we got them to stand on their table. And they did not break. Like, we made sure that they didn't jump on them because, you know, they are still popsicle sticks and glue. But my kid's like 80 pounds and he stood on this little table and it was strong. And so that, especially to a child, he was like, what? Like, wow. So it really is a good visual representation of confidence and how All those things that are good about me prove that I'm a confident person. And it was interesting. There was a bit of a change overnight in his demeanor. So I implore you, even though you're a full-grown adult, go ahead and go get some glue and some sticks. And let me know in the comment section if you do that exercise. I would love to hear about it. Also, let me know what you think. I'm not just here to yammer away at you. Like, I have my opinions, but you have yours too. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think that you have some other information about body image that you can mention? What else should I talk about in another video regarding body image? So let me know what you think. I really want to hear from you guys. And I will link in the description a nice gooey yoga class from this channel, something that's going to be really helpful in creating a healthy body image because it'll raise your self-confidence, because you'll check off I did a yoga class, which will give you some dopamine, which will raise your self-confidence, and it'll keep going. All right? Until next time, namaste, and have a really good rest of your day.